Hi friends, welcome back to MBA Pulse, a true guide for higher management education for you. And the first four videos I covered the CAT preparation, what are the components of it, and how do you really prepare for GDPI, extempore, and VAG. But this time I want to focus something on once you go through the process, how do you really select an institute? What are the basis for your selection? When you are investing 10 to 20 lakhs for a PGDM program, you must ensure that you get the best out of it. For that, you need to aim at good B school admission. Don't get trapped into the third rank institutions which charges less, maybe 5 to 10 lakhs, but they don't deliver what is required for your next 30 years. So, since I have got an experience with branded institutions, I want to suggest that invest this money wisely. There is a wheel of wisdom in my website. Please go and have a look at it. How do you really look at the components before investing? And today I want to touch upon the 5 pulses which I talked about earlier. The first pulse being academic pulse. The second one is the academic and industry collaboration. The third one is nothing but accreditation. And the fourth one is curricular and co-curricular extracurricular activities. And the fifth, but not the least, is placements and packages, which I call it as return on investment. So having said that your ROI has to be in a good place, you should also know the academic pulse, which is the basic foundation of any management program. So you have to be very clear on what is to be done when you look at a due diligence process for selecting an institution. Definitely the good PGDM institution, the rigor is there. You need to spend around 15 to 17 hours a day because that's going to be an investment for you for the next 20 or 30 years. So it's most important point I'm talking about is the academic pulse. The most important hallway to credibility and your career is academic pulse. The growth of your future depends on the academic pulse, and which is also about the rigor and the seamless intervention into student knowledge based enhancement, or it's a professional craftsmanship, I would define from the institute point of view. So those institutes which are good PGDM institutions or an MBA institution must deliver this very, very clearly, because that is the hallway to credibility and for your career. So the first component of academic pulse is, of course, standard setting. Standard setting means what sort of rubrics the institutions have to validate the process of academic delivery. Definitely it has to be a dialectic classroom. It's not one way of delivery from the faculty members alone. And good PGDM institutions are expected to set higher level of rigor. The program outcomes have to be absolutely clear and to be communicated to the students especially. And there should not be any ambiguity when it comes to the outcomes related to rubrics or the program delivery. Those institutes which supports and also achieves the rigor are those institutions which are going to make a huge difference in your life. If the standards of students are higher, that means the standard of excellence of faculty members are also expected to be high. So the basic component is you must thoroughly check what is the background of faculty members there in that institute. So it's about not only delivery but also on extending that towards your corporate life, to an application of what you learned in the classroom. So these are the components I talk about academic pulse. And the next point of academic pulse is, of course, the validation of achievement. Every single PGDM institution which is good gives a good feedback to every single student. So it could be formative, it could be summative assessments. So both should be the component of a validation of achievement of a student when it comes to academic rigor. The last component of faculty is the composition of faculty. One is a ratio we talk about, which regulatory authorities clearly define. But more than that, good PGDM institution has got better ratio over and above what is defined in the regulatory framework. That means they have the judicious mix of people who can also look at application side of it, industry collaborations, and also in terms of delivering something much more than what the normal AICTE regulated institutions, standalone institutions look at it. So when you talk about regulatory authorities, AICTE has started looking at giving full freedom to institutions, standalone institutions, which are good in terms of delivering this academic pulse. So the next one in the academic pulse is the industry interface. So how often the faculty members have visited or visiting the industry, and what they're learning from there. Are there any joint research of faculty members with industry? These things matter a lot. So you must look at the faculty members who are doing this kind of work in an institution before you actually plunge into a selection process of a good PGDM institution. The next part of the academic pulse is a technology adaptation. And I would say it's a singular important, judgment for a B school, how they manage technology. The cluster of tools I talk about, it has to be distinctive. It has to be in touch with the current, the market trends. And LMS, every institute must be having learning management system. But more than that, how well they are equipped with cluster of tools which can be used by students in the future. The pedagogy is also very, very important in the academic pulse. So it is nothing but the instruction method, the tools, and how the distinctive knowledge is actually assimilated and disseminated to student community. And I talked about validation process. They do check whether you have really learned these tools to deliver what is required. And the next part is nothing but specialization. Specialization, you would have heard about generally marketing, finance, HR, operations, and nowadays analytics is in a big way coming into specialization. So those institutions which are very well connected in terms of collaboration with labs, I'm talking about startup labs, and there are labs defined by the regulatory authorities called ATL labs, innovation labs, and also in terms of connecting to the other institutes which have got labs. And if the MOUs are good enough, and I'm sure the academic pulse will be very, very strong. Last but not the least in academic pulse is blended learning methodology. That is going to be the future. Since pandemic, we've been witnessing a lot of things moving towards online programs, and most of the programs even today are delivered through online. So first, the faculty members have to be trained in delivering better content and better way of delivering when they go through the online process. So blended learning, I talked about, you must use the YouTube, Google platforms, and also using different gaming tools. We can talk about having forums which will bring in students together to discuss matters which makes relevant and very important to them. And of course, you have quiz components, and LMS actually combines all these things together to deliver the best academic pulse for you. So this is about academic pulse. This is a due diligence process for you. You must check all these things are in place in an institution before you take an admission. I'll be coming back to you with the next Pulse 2, in the next video. In the meantime, please do subscribe to my website, www.mbapulse.com, and also to my YouTube channel. You will get more information about how do you really select a good PGDM institution. Thank you so much for watching me, and please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much.